Now the next chapter we move on to is banking. First of all, what is banking? First of all, what is a bank? Bank is an institution whose basic purpose is to deposit money or to take money and pay a little bit of interest to the person who deposits money and to lend money at a higher rate of interest than they give the person who gives them money. So basically, in a bank, there are two functions going on. Bank is taking money from a few people and paying them a little bit of interest. And bank is then utilizing this money to give this money to other people or lend this money to other people as loan and charge a higher rate of interest and earn profit. This is how a basic bank works. Okay, so in banking, in this chapter, we have two basic type of bank accounts. These are saving bank accounts and recurring bank account. Basically, we have a lot of other types of bank accounts too. Those are current bank accounts and fixed deposit bank accounts. But in our syllabus, there are only two bank accounts. Those are saving and recurring. So first of all, we'll be studying about the saving bank account. In a saving bank account, first of all, the topic comes opening of a saving bank account. How do you open a saving bank account? First of all, you go to the bank and they will give you a form, an application form. You fill that form and at the bottom, you sign that form with your authorized signatures. Now, these signatures will be used to do all the transactions that will occur in your account after this point. Then you give the money, you give a certain amount of money, because in saving bank accounts, there is a certain amount of minimum balance that you have to maintain in your account. That can be anything depending on the bank and the offer that is going on. That may be 1,000 rupees or 10,000 rupees or 5,000 rupees or just 100 rupees. So opening of a saving bank account is done by filling an application form, signing it at the bottom. That paper, that piece of application form is then kept in custody of the bank somewhere safe, and you deposit the minimum amount that is needed to open the account, either the minimum amount or more than that. Okay, that is how a saving bank account is opened. Okay, now moving on to the next topic is saving bank account passbook. Okay, what is a saving bank account passbook? A passbook is actually a book that is given to you at the opening of the account, and this book has all the entries of whatever transactions go on in your account. A basic passbook looks like this. It is the date, the particulars, amount withdrawn, amount deposited, balance and initials. What is this? First of all, we have the date on which the transaction was done. This has a lot of other rows too. Okay, so this continues, and this is just one row. Same way we have other rows also. Okay, so this is the date on which the transaction was done. The particulars means how was the transaction done. It was done through a check or through a withdrawal form, or how was the transaction done. Okay, this is particulars. Then did the person withdraw some money or did he deposit some money? So depending on that, there is an entry in either this box or this box. Okay, so if the person has deposited money, so there is an entry over here. If the person has credited some money, that is if the person has withdrawn some money, then there is an entry in this box. And if there is the person has deposited some money, then there is an entry in this box. And then there is the balance after the transaction. What is the balance? Okay, and then there are initials of the person who authorizes the transaction. Okay, so now two other terms that you need to take care of are debits and credits. Okay, debits are whatever money is withdrawn from your account. All of those are your debits. Okay, if you pay the electricity bill, that is from your account, that is debit. If you pay me some money, that is debit. Okay, credits are all the deposits in your account. You receive a payment from somewhere, that is a debit. You deposit some money in your account, that is a debit again. That is a credit, sorry. All the money that comes into your account is credit, and all the money that goes out is debit. That is all you have to remember. Don't confuse yourself. All the money that goes out is debit. All the money that comes in is credit. That is it. Okay, now we've done passbook. Now we have depositing money in saving bank accounts. Okay, how is money deposited in saving bank accounts? In saving bank accounts, the money is deposited using a pay-in slip. Okay, what is this pay-in slip? Where do you get it? You go to the bank, ask them for the pay-in slip, or you don't even have to ask them. There's a counter over there where there's a booklet of the pay-in slips kept. Just go there, pick up a pay-in slips and start filling it. Now you can see a pay-in slip by going to a bank or referring the internet or going through your textbook. There is a sample given everywhere. The thing that you have to remember is that there are two parts of a pay-in slip. Okay, so basically the pay-in slip will look something like this, okay, and separated with a paper fold. So this is one part and this is the other part. This is the foil and this is called the counter foil. Now there is something written over here and something written over here. You have to fill in that form. That form will contain a lot of things like how many rupees do you want to deposit and in which bank account, on which date, and then you have to write the amount in words and then in numbers on both the sides, and in which bank are you depositing the money, what is the bank code, what is the bank name, and everything. This is a pay-in slip that will contain all this. You have to fill in all this information over there. It will be asked, and then you sign at the bottom, the sign of the depositor. Then what happens is you give this to the teller at the bank. You give him this and you give him the money. He counts the money, he writes the money over there, he stamps both the sides of the pay-in slip, that is the foil and the counterfoil. Then he keeps the foil to himself and he hands you over the counterfoil. Now this counterfoil with his signatures and his stamp and the money written with pen is, what is this? This is a proof that you had deposited this much money in that account on this particular date. Okay, so this is how the money is deposited in saving bank account. Okay, now let's come to withdrawing money from saving bank account. How is money withdrawn from the saving bank account? I'll just come to this within a minute. Okay, so now there are two ways by which we can withdraw money from a saving bank account. First, that is very simple, is by using a withdrawal form. Now what is a withdrawal form? Withdrawal form is another form that will be available in the bank. You just go over there, it will just be a simple piece of paper and a lot of information will be asked from you over there. Okay, now using a withdrawal form, only and only the bank account holder can withdraw money. Okay, obviously, because I cannot go over there and ask for money from your account, right? So, what do you have? What do you have to have in that is signature of the person whose account is there. That person should have signed at the bottom, and then only by the withdrawal form the money can be withdrawn. Okay, now what all is there in this form? There is how much money has to be paid in words, then in numbers, and then the saving account number, and then the signatures, obviously the date and the name of the bank too. So all these things are there on a withdrawal form, right? Now the next thing that comes is withdrawing money by check. Now what is a check? Where do you get it from? How do you get a check? While you open a saving account, what happens is that the bank gives you a booklet containing 10, 20, 50 or 100 checks, depending on how many transactions you are going to do. 10, 25, 50 or 100. These are the number of checks that are there in a checkbook that is given to you. Now the checkbook will again have a check that will look like this. Okay, in that check what happens is that you have written over here that this much amount, pay this much amount to the bearer from account number. Sometimes the account number is already printed on the checkbook and sometimes it is not. Okay, so there are two kinds of checkbooks again. Sometimes the account number is printed. Basically almost all the time the account number, your saving account number will be printed. You don't have to fill in every time you withdraw money from checkbook. Okay. So what you have to do is you just have to sign, you have to fill in the amount and you have to give that check, and you have to fill in the name to whom you have to pay the money. Now that person will take the check to the bank and he will show the check over there to the manager or someone over there, and he will verify your signature. Those are at the bottom, and if the signatures are verified, then he will forward that check to the person who will give you the cash, or the teller. Then the teller is going to give you the cash. Okay. Now there are 2-3 conditions that go on in this check. There is a word bearer written over here somewhere on the check. Now if this word bearer is crossed, okay, then what happens is, now there is a word bearer, okay, written on the check somewhere. Now if this bearer is crossed with a pen like this, what happens then? It is my check, I cross the line, I just draw a line over the word bearer. What happens then is that the bank is not allowed to give money to anyone other than the person whose name is mentioned on the top of the check. Okay. It is written, pay Mr. Ishjot Singh an amount of this much. Okay. So if I cross this bearer, then nobody other than Ishjot Singh can go and take money from the bank. Okay. But what if this word bearer is not cut? Then anybody can just go and take money through the check from the bank. Okay. Now to reduce frauds, what do they do is that we just draw on the top left corner, we will just cross this check like this. We'll draw 2 lines like this. If these 2 lines are drawn on the check, this means that this check cannot be, the money cannot be withdrawn from this check. This means that the name of the person over here, he should have a bank account somewhere in any bank. He takes that check to that bank, he deposits that check over there, and the money that is written over here, the amount will be transferred into his account. You cannot get a cash if this check is crossed like this from the top. You cannot get cash. What you can do is you can deposit this check, and the money that is written over here will be deposited into your account. Okay. I know this is a bit confusing, but you just go through the video once again and you will understand everything that goes on. Okay.